lot of respect for obviously Coach Hurley and his program. The way that I thought, the difference in the game today was just the way that they continued to attack. They were more relentless than us. Thought there was a lot of possessions where we defended them well, but they just stayed with it. They kept attacking. They kept battling. They forced some switches that they got the ball inside of their bigger guys that created opportunities for them. And then the way they attacked the glass in the second half was a huge, huge difference maker. Certainly would take holding UConn to 43% from the field, 21% from three, them only shooting 2 more free throws than us. But, we got to score more than 57 points if that's the case. I like a lot of the looks our guys got from outside. We've got to bounce into those shots and shoot the ball better. Around the basket, we got to finish better. There's a lot of stuff we need to work on there. But I told the guys after in the locker room that the stretches of the game where we were lost in the moment and competing as a group of 5, I liked the look in their eyes. We just didn't do it consistently enough.
That first 5 minutes of the second half, you guys kind of lost touch a little bit. Is that all the stuff you were talking about, or what did you see during that?
We had to lead at 5 with less than 2 minutes left in the first half. I think with where our team is right now, a lot of it is, trying to build belief and in small segments. You're not even talking about the whole game. Like just win this next round, whether it's 2 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever it may be. Coming out of halftime, I thought UConn did a good job of playing with force. And we did not stand up to them enough. And then on our offensive end, there was too many single actions. It needs to be multiple actions against a team like that. I actually think when we played through multiple actions, we got pretty good looks most of this game. We didn't make most of them. But when we had a single action, it was a lot of dribbling afterwards and then not quite getting to what we want.
I know you guys like Nigel's aggressiveness, but 5-4-18, do you think he was too single-minded in his approach, or what do you think of him?
Man, he's fearless. He's going to win a lot of games over the course of his career. He's learning right now, and he's drinking through a fire hose. And, we start 2 freshmen in the backcourt, and those are guys that, typically you want to come in and learn from some older guys. What we're asking out of them, particularly NJ, is, almost unrealistic. But, I like his aggressiveness. There's certain plays we'll certainly watch and look at what we can learn and do better, but he cares. He's got an unbelievable passion. But absolutely, there were some plays that, we got to move it to the next side and get to another action.
I think it's the 3rd or 4th game that we've seen Cade start, and then he comes off pretty early on in the game. What's the reason for keeping him in the starting lineup? Do you think he's going to continue for the season?
Well, he's actually, by the numbers, he's our best defensive player. So just when you're playing against a guy like Terrace Reed, he gives us the most physicality. One of the reasons he hasn't played much in the last 2 games has been foul trouble. He got 2 fouls, 90 seconds today. And then he got to his 3rd foul very quickly to start the second half. So typically he would play more than he's played the last couple games. But he's been in foul trouble. And certainly he hasn't played his best all around in the last few games, or maybe the last several games. And I thought Josh Clark was terrific today. He gave us some really, really good minutes, and we were plus 10 when he was in the game. But Caden is someone that on the defensive end, he gives us a physicality. Reed is a load, and so that's definitely the thought process there.
That's a season low in points for you. What makes their defense so good?
Well, I think, effort. Those guys, they have a unique defense compared to most of the teams that we play in that they only really help when they have to. I mean, they stay home for the most part with guys. But what that requires is, like, really, really battling, and staying in front of a guy. We'll have to watch the tape to get the total number. We had a lot of paint touches tonight, but those paint touches didn't always, a lot of possessions did not turn into points. And the credits to UConn for staying in front and then making the shot really tough. They have a physicality about them. We needed to draw more fouls on a game like today. the fouls, the free throws for us in the first half stabilized us a little bit offensively and gave us a little bit of, just stability out there to get to the next play. We didn't have enough of those early in the second half.
Shaka, you've had some great battles with UConn over the years, seen some great UConn teams. How would you compare, if at all, this team to maybe the ones past couple of years, 3 years ago, championship teams?
Well, I think just still evolving. I really like the pieces that they have. I like the role definition that they have. I love Mullins. I think getting Ross back is a big key for them because he just gives them a really, really strong, solid plus defender coming off the bench. But yeah, I think they got a chance to have a heck of a season. Obviously, they're off to a great start, and the way that they play offensively is as hard to deal with as anybody.
Shaka, you talked about Josh and how much he gave you today. What are you looking to unlock from him moving forward? How much more do you want to play him and see what he's all about?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of him. He's a guy that, a year and a half ago, he had no scholarship offers, his senior year in high school. And, he came to Marquette it was his only option. And he came and he redshirted and he worked. And he's come a long way with his mentality, just the way that he's approached the game. And one of the things we've learned about him, unlike most players, he's better in the games than in practice, which as a coach, that's not how you draw it up, but you'd actually like that better than the opposite. And we have some guys that are the opposite currently right now. We feel like we can change that. But, he's done well with the minutes he's gotten. We got out the calculator this morning at breakfast and calculated his rebounding interval, which is how many minutes it takes him to get one. And he's getting one in less than 3 minutes on average. So he just, being tall and long, he makes some plays around the baskets that other guys can't make on both ends of the floor. He's still green in a lot of ways. Defensively, he's got a lot to learn there. But, this is probably the best thing that came out of today for us is just an understanding that, hey, that guy's got to be in the game more.
Coach, you shot about 5 of 24 today.
Yeah.
What do you think was the issue with the shooting tonight?
Man, both teams did. I thought both teams had a lot of good looks that you would think would result in a higher percentage. On our end, we shot a lot of short balls, a lot of balls that came off the front of the rim. A couple didn't even get to the rim. We got to bounce into our shots. You got to when that's happening, you got to use your legs more. I think maybe there's some heaviness on the part of our guys because they want to win and, they feel certain plays not going our way. But, when you step up and shoot the ball, you got to have a level of, hey, I'm letting it go, man, and I'm willing to live with the result. And so that's still something we're going to keep striving for.
Sean's just been snaked in by injuries.
Yeah.
How serious is that?
I'm not positive. It's like a turf toe type of thing, but it was pretty. It was on the more tough side, and he tried to practice yesterday. The injury occurred on Thursday. He tried to practice yesterday, and he couldn't move very like himself. And as you know, Sean's game is predicated on speed, quickness, stopping and starting. The X-ray was clean, which is good, but we'll just have to wait and see how long it takes for it to settle down for him to be able to play with less pain. He really, really wants to be out there. He was so distraught, and as we've talked about before, he needs some runway of games to get under his belt. So hopefully he'll be able to come back soon.
Yeah, just thought we're obviously able to do a good job overall defensively, like we've done for most of the year. And then just not being able to get the separation in the game, I think, had probably just a lot to do with Marquette, just a lot to do with Shaka Smart, one of the game's best coaches, and a program that's got, as good a culture as anybody. Just I thought they were, just tough and determined. And always are a hard opponent because of how hard they play and how together the group is. So, for me, anytime I get a chance to play against Marquette or one of Shaka's teams, it's always an honor because I got so much respect for the way that they do things.
Dan, when you look at what Marquette does or doesn't do in terms of recruiting out of the portal, and in this day and age, I gotta believe it makes things more difficult. Do you understand maybe the thinking behind that? And obviously, you guys utilize it as well as anyone. Do you think that makes things more difficult for them in not getting the guys out of the portal?
I think anytime, Shaka's just he's a man with values and principles, and he's got a code, and and he's an incredible winner. He's took VCU to the Final Four, and the consistent success at Texas, and then what he's done at Marquette. If you just take this year and just what he's done at Marquette, it's as good a coaching job as anyone's done the last couple of years in the country. So, but he's a guy with values and principles, and there's not everyone over the course of the history of college basketball, shares those same values and principles, and he's never been a cheater in recruiting, and he's always a guy that's done it the right way and built programs and built cultures, and he hasn't cut corners and recruited over players and paid players like a lot of other successful coaches have done. I mean, we all know in our business. I mean, you guys might not, but he's a man of great principle, and he's willing to. He's going to build his program the way he wants to build it, and they won't stay where they are. They're going to win games the rest of the way, and I promise you, Marquette will be back at the top of this league and at the top of college basketball in short order.
Coach, just talk about the strides that Solo Ball's made defensively from the start of the year to now.
Yeah, it's helped a lot. I mean, it was a huge improvement. I mean, when you look at defensive ratings of players, I mean, last year we had multiple players in our starting five that were 500, 600, 700, 1,000 or lower relative to individual defensive rating. I mean, it was a shit show out there on defense last year. Silas has helped. Solo's improvement on defense has helped. Braylon as a freshman, he obviously foul trouble hurt his game today. Silas, who played great, he's addicted to foul trouble, Silas. I think he likes it. It's sick. I don't know why he likes it, but he likes it. It's a strange thing to like. But I just think overall, it's just Taras is, Eric's been a pretty good defensive center. I mean, he's surrounded by better defensive players, and he's raised his level.
Dan, Solo on the other side of the ball, offensively, he seems to be able to convert even against good defense. Once he gets the ball near the rim, converts against good defense. Is that an area of his game that's evolved? Is that a testament to him just being stronger?
Yeah. I mean, off-season work, we're on campus. I mean, it's pretty lonely on campus in the summer here. We're pretty much on our own around the place. So we're in the gym 8 weeks during the summer going live, and he's getting reps, and he's playing live 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5 all summer, and he worked on his rim finishing game, and and you could see the improvement there, improvement passing, improvement defense. Today was frustrating shooting. I thought we got great threes today. It just was, hopefully we got a bad shooting game kind of out of the way. But yeah, I mean, he's gotten better in a lot of ways as a basketball player.
Coach, Shaka talked about his guys missing shots, especially missing short. Where do you feel that puts the defense? Do you feel you guys were taking away shots still, or maybe they were missing a few that were open for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always like a little bit of both, right? We can go back and we could, I think when we both watch film, it was like I said to him before the game, his last game at Seton Hall, or Seton Hall at home, they're up 7, under 4 to go in the game, and Chase Ross has a pick 6, which looks like it's going to be a breakaway dunk to go up 9 and put yourself in a great position. He misses the dunk. They get possession, and then Ben Gold gets an open 3 and misses it to go up 10, which then probably puts the game away. So I think when you go back and watch film, I think you'll see times where we were really good defensively and made them miss, and there were times where they got some young players out there. They start 2 freshmen, a couple sophomores in the front court. Some young players off the bench, so they're just, they're young. They're going to keep getting better.
Dan Braylon may not have had it going shooting-wise today, but he still gets 7.6 rebounds. To watch him evolve, this latest chapter of his evolution, what can you say about the progress he's made?
He's made a lot of progress, and I think the thing for him is he's really good defensively, and he rebounds the ball, and he's a good passer. But I just thought today, he just kind of buried himself with the foul trouble. Just that early foul trouble just really affected his rhythm. And I kind of like that going into this week now because, again, I like the fact that him and Alex didn't shoot well. And Solo didn't shoot well because hopefully that means we'll shoot well this week, get that bad shooting game out of the way. They happen every so often.
Dan, I was going to ask you about Silas's start on both. Over here.
Fly? The flies were dead in the winter.
I don't know.
So, are flies, Bobby? Is that it on the ground right by your foot, Brian?
No.
Sorry, Joe.
Silas's start, just the way that he was able to sort of initiate offense from the defensive end, does he have to balance sort of how active he is on the ball?
I just think sometimes, you're one-on-one in transition, just make the guy make a hard layup and wall up at the rim. I think sometimes he allows the ball to get too deep against him, and but he is a ball hawk. But what I liked about what he did today was, obviously looking for his 3-point shot. I mean, going, he's a career, high 30s 3-point shooter, and that's a great development. How he's been looking for his 3 and looked like a confident shooter today. But he's got to avoid. I mean, we need him to play 30+ minutes. He can't do that to himself.
Dan, where would you like to see this offense make strides and get you guys to another level?
Yeah, I mean, today was a game that we should have shot, 50% from the field. I felt like, we got good enough looks from 3 that it should have been double-figure 3s made. And then, the turnovers, 11, I guess I could live with that number based on what's been transpiring. But, the turnover numbers for us, I mean, when we're at our best, 24, the 24 team was number 1 in the country in assist to turnover ratio. We got to get the turnovers down. We waited a half to offensive rebound. We offensive rebound the heck out of the ball in the second half. You can't wait a half to offensive rebound. That's a part of your offense. Free throw shooting was sketchy again. And I thought we left points on the board not finishing at the rim. So I just, teams get better throughout the year. We're going to get a lot better. We're not going to stay the way we are. We're going to improve a lot.
Yeah, Coach, you alluded to it a second ago. With the rebounding specifically on the offensive end, a lot of the guards did a great job of rebounding today, whether that's long rebounds from the 3s or whatever it might be. How important is the guards committing to rebounding like that, to getting out on the break, to you being where this team wants to be moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge with the transition game. I think you said it. We were lethal in transition with Steph Castle and Cam Spencers. Those are good 2 guys that defensive rebounded the ball and offensive rebounded it. but you're able to, get on the defensive glass and just push it. And, we're working at it. I think we're getting a little bit better with getting out and trying to get some early offense, but we got a long way to go there. But, to see Braylon get 6 defensive rebounds, to see, Solo get 8 overall, 5, defensive, and I thought underrated. I thought Jalen Stewart was great today. Jalen made some plays, just looked like an NBA player. Just some of the cutting to dunks and just some of the really high level basketball things were impressive.
Certainly not the loudest crowd you've been a part of in your time here because we're breaking everything. But how did it feel to get back into Gamble after nearly a month of not playing in this building?
Yeah, I would say this, with that. It's like the coaches got to coach better. The team's got to play better. I got a special relationship with, and the team, all the sports here, but basketball's special in Connecticut. And, I certainly don't want to ever, be negative about our fans. We got incredible fans. They were with me when I post New Mexico State, when a lot of people had a lot of questions about me. I got so much support from the people in the state and the fans here that stayed with me and stayed with us. So it's that's a lifelong connection. But, we all got to be better, the team's got to play better. I've got to coach better so that we play at a higher level so that the crowd kind of has plays happening in the court that keeps them engaged. And then, I just think we need people without being, without embarrassing, or without doing the shit that a lot of fans do now, which is embarrassing their university or their fan base or whatever by yelling a lot of vulgar things and some Big East places there's fans that get away with going up to families my family members, getting in their face, saying derogatory things, security being alerted but then them not doing anything about it, and then you go have meetings together and act like you're all best friends. But I don't know why I had to get to that tangent, but back to UConn fans. Listen, we need you. We'll, I think, just right from the start, just be into the game. And I think we all need to get better, and starting with me. Thanks, Sam.
Hey, Solo. How would you say you're different as a player this year? You talked before the season about wanting to be stronger, and it seems like that's presenting itself in a number of ways, including being able to finish through contact when you get the ball to the rim. What do you see in yourself kind of at the halfway point of this season now, though, versus, say, last year?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the biggest thing I've grown this year is just, of course, just strength. The strength piece has been really influential for me, just going to the rim, and also just helps with rebounding. I feel like I've just become a way more complete player than I was last year, and I think that's just what I could do just to help the team. I mean, whatever I could do to help the team become a more complete player, become a better defender, just all the other aspects of my game, and then everything else will fall into place.
Solo, on a similar note, how do you feel like from the start of the season to now how your defense has improved? Because it seems like you've made a lot of great strides, especially compared to last year.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely got a lot better. Last year was kind of a head case. I feel like that was our Achilles heel as a team, and I feel like it affected us all because of my defense and also just the team's defense just wasn't there. So, I mean, that was a big emphasis going into this year, and we work on defense like tirelessly every single day going into practice. So I know you just got to trust your preparation.
Silas, how much did the plays you made on the defensive end early help you be aggressive in hunting threes, and how do you balance that with the foul trouble?
I would say defending early kind of gets me going. I think it kind of gets everybody going. It helps us not to play in the half court as much. We can get out in transition, and I think a lot of my opportunities just come out of transition because when it's time to run plays and execute, I'm trying to get guys in spots and trying to hit them where they need to hit their shots. So, just being able to defend and get out in transition and pick my spots kind of helps me get into the rhythm and flow of the game. And obviously, when we get in the half court, I rely on these guys to make those plays and just hit shots.
Terrace, you guys lost the rebounding battle in the first half by 2, but then doubled them in the second half. What was kind of the mentality switch coming out of halftime?
Yeah, I feel like just keep going, keep attacking the offensive glass. I know coming in this game was a big emphasis on winning the rebounding battle, not just by a little bit, but really dominating on the glass, and we didn't do that the first half. So going into the second half, we knew what we had to do, and that's keep relentlessly attacking that O glass, and it worked out in the end.
Silas, Coach was saying how he thinks you might be addicted to getting in foul trouble. I think he was being sarcastic, but what do you have to do to kind of try to cut down on that a little bit?
I think I just got to be smarter. I feel like I'm a tough defender, and at times, it's going to happen. Somebody's going to get by me, and I think I just got to live with the result of, sometimes people are going to score on me. I think I take a lot of pride in that, but understanding just being smart, I feel like I'm a bigger guard, and a lot of the times I get in trouble with smaller guards. They get up underneath me, so I kind of just got to be smarter, not swipe down, and just make them finish over my length.
This is for any one of the guys. Sometimes the fans feel sort of an anxiety when you're not putting teams away. Do you feel that sort of negative energy?
Yeah, I feel like we talked about it a lot this year, and our cap, AKA, spoke about it in the huddle. It's that killer instinct. We're up 15 in the second half pretty early, knowing that we could really put this game away, get up 20, 25, 30, but we let them come back and just keep playing and toying around with it. So I feel like that's our next step as a team defensively. I feel like we took a tremendous jump this year, and that next step is having that killer mentality, putting teams away as soon as we get that lead.
Solo, Coach was saying of the team's development in general that we're not going to be what we are right now. We're going to be better, and that's probably true of any team. What do you see as the major areas of potential growth for the next couple of months? And also, do you like the way things have been trending for this team throughout the first portion of the season?
Yeah, I mean, this year has been so fun so far just with these guys. I feel like we have an incredible chemistry together, and I feel like it starts in the locker room. But, I mean, the great thing is, like you said, I mean, we're still going to grow. We're not going to be the same team that we'll be in March. And that just comes with the rest that we'll continue to put in. We still have guys that are still getting back into the flow of things, who have had injuries and are just getting comfortable and just getting their feet wet again. So, I mean, when we get everyone's pretty much on the same page now, but as soon as we continue to build the chemistry, it's just going to be dangerous between all 15 of us.